At dawn, our world woke with a rumble that felt bigger than the sky. Flint stood at the cave mouth, knuckles white around a torch, watching the familiar valley breathe strange and new. "We move together," he said, voice steady as a boulder, even when the ground trembled. Mara squeezed Bram's hand, and Lyra, who always saw farther than the horizon, lifted her chin to catch the wind's whisper. Gran tucked a charm into her shawl and whispered back to the morning, as if promising it we'd be kind. We stepped out, the cave shrinking behind us until it felt like yesterday's shadow. The path unfurled across stones polished by rain, through grasses the color of old sunlight, and into a forest where leaves glowed softly, like stars had learned to grow. Bram darted ahead, then thought better, and returned to Mara's side, his small feet pattering a rhythm against the earth. Lyra traced the shapes of new birds in the canopy, wings woven with blues and greens that sang when they flew. "They're like the sky, wearing a secret," she said. Flint nodded, carving the path with his patience, his shoulders a shelter the rest of us could walk beneath. Gran, listening to the world's heartbeat, hummed a melody that braided courage into our steps. When a shadow moved in the underbrush, we froze. Two amber eyes blinked, and Emberclaw stepped into the light, silver whiskers catching the glow. His fangs were moons hooked into a smile that wasn't meant to frighten. He sniffed Lyra's palm, and when she didn't flinch, he purred, low and steady, like a drum remembering a song. Flint drew a breath that let his knuckles unclench. "Friends can be sharp," Gran said, tapping her charm. We crossed a river braided with white foam, Lyra learning its language by hopping rock to rock, Bram squealing when cool water kissed his ankles. Mara taught us to cup water in our hands and listen to our reflections. "The river knows more than it tells," she said, eyes soft. Beyond the forest, cliffs rose like pages of stone, and a canyon cut the land into two stories that hadn't met yet. The bridge was a fallen giant, an ancient tree, smooth and worn, leaning across the gap as if tired from holding two worlds together. Flint tested each step with his weight. Lyra traced a path of safe places, naming them out loud like landmarks in a map only we would understand. Bram crawled, stomach pressed to the wood, giggling when Emberclaw's purr thrummed through the canyon like a friendly echo. Halfway across, the wind shifted, playful and strong, the bridge creaked, and our breaths became careful. Mara anchored us with the kind of calm that turns panic into planning. "One step, then another," she said, and we made a rhythm that kept fear from dancing in our bones. On the far side, the land changed again. Flowers taller than Flint's shoulders, petals shaped like hands reaching to welcome us, and fruits with skins that shone like painted suns. We learned to peel sweetness with patience, to share bites that tasted like tomorrow. Lyra found a ridgeline where the world's edge showed its teeth and its smile in the same breath. The valley beyond held smoke that rose like questions, and light pooled in places where no river ran. "We can build where the wind remembers our names," she said. Flint gathered stones, Mara braided reeds, and soon our camp was a circle of belonging. Gran taught us to coax fire from shy sparks, to sing to it until it grew brave, and Bram named the flames little stars that forgot the sky. When night reached us, it did not make demands. It laid velvet across our shoulders and asked quietly what we dreamed. Lyra dreamed of paths becoming stories and stories becoming maps. Bram dreamed of leaping with birds that carried songs in their wings. Flint dreamed of tomorrow standing beside today, steady and generous. Mara dreamed of a garden that whispered thank you. Gran dreamed of the earth remembering the soft steps of those who loved it. In the morning, the rumble returned. Gentler, like the world clearing its throat. We didn't run back to the cave because we were already outside of it, and because fear had learned our names but couldn't change them. Emberclaw led us toward a ridge kissed by dawn, where the sun untied clouds and let light fall in ribbons. We walked into it together, steps braided like strands in a rope, voices telling each other the story of what we had already survived and what we would surely find. And when the path bent away from the familiar, we bent with it, learning the shape of courage by tracing the outline of each other's shadows. The cave was a chapter, the forest a sentence, the canyon a question, and our family was the answer that kept writing itself, one careful step, one wild laugh, one warm hand at a time.